We all move. Sometimes it's a choice we make. A new apartment, maybe a new city. But what about when you have to move? When it's not about some exciting new beginning, but about a sudden, desperate need to just go. Today, we're going to look at both sides of that coin, the moves we plan and the ones that change our lives in an instant.
Okay, so let's start with something we can all relate to. The kind of move that most of us have been through at some point. Changing homes. It's a process that has its own language, its own rhythm, its own set of rules, right?
And for a lot of us, that journey usually kicks off with a single piece of paper, the lease. It's more than just a document, really. It's a promise, it's the key to a new chapter, all for a specific amount of time.
And then comes that moment, right? The end of the lease. You're at a crossroads, and you have a pretty simple choice to make. Do you sign on for another year and stay where you are, or do you let it run out and start the whole process of moving somewhere new? And if you do choose to move on, then comes the packing. The packing. We've all been there, haven't we? It's such a weird process, kind of emotional sometimes. You're literally putting your life and all your memories into cardboard boxes, getting ready for whatever's next.
Okay, but let's shift gears, because what happens when moving isn't a choice you make? When it's not about leases or packing tape, but about a sudden, terrifying event that forces you into motion. That's exactly where this story takes a very sharp turn.
So picture this. It was a totally normal day at Utah Valley University. You've got a big crowd, about 3,000 people, all gathered for a public speech. The energy is high, people are listening, until a single sharp sound just rips through the air.
And in a split second, everything changes. That lively event, it just implodes into absolute chaos. A shot had been fired from a nearby rooftop. The target was the speaker, activist Charlie Kirk. Suddenly, this peaceful gathering became the center of a national tragedy.
So in the immediate aftermath, you can just imagine the scene. Law enforcement, from local cops all the way up to the FBI, they kick off one of the biggest and most urgent manhunts this state has ever seen. The race was on to find the person responsible.
And when I say big, I mean huge. Look at these numbers. For more than 30 hours straight, you've got over 20 different agencies working together around the clock. They're interviewing hundreds of people and chasing down more than 7,000 tips from the public. It was an absolutely massive operation.
Okay, so the police immediately put out this description to the public. They're looking for a guy who was seen jumping from the roof of a university building. He was wearing a black t-shirt with an eagle on it, a baseball cap, and sunglasses. He ran off into the woods, and they put up a massive reward, $100,000 for any info that could lead to his capture.
Meanwhile, miles away in southern Utah, a father is just watching the news like everybody else. But as he's looking at the images of the suspect, this feeling of absolute dread starts to creep in. The man on the TV, he looked terrifyingly familiar. So he goes to his 22-year-old son, Tyler, and with, I can only imagine, a heart pounding in his chest, he shows him the news report and asks him that one terrible question he was afraid to ask. Is this you?
And then he gets the answer. Tyler admits it. He did it. But then he drops this bombshell of an ultimatum on his family. He says he'd rather kill himself than be turned in, putting them in an absolutely agonizing position.
And this is really the core of the whole thing, isn't it? Put yourself in that position for a second. Your child is the most wanted person in the country. They confess to you, but threaten to end their life if you tell anyone. What do? I mean, really, what choice do you make?
So the family is just stuck in this unbelievable nightmare. They have to do something. And whatever they decide, it's going to set the final, critical piece of this whole story in motion. Well, the father, trying to find a peaceful way through this, he gets his son to talk to a youth pastor they trust. But at the same time, a family friend, knowing what's at stake, makes that incredibly hard but necessary phone call to the sheriff's office. And that call was the one tip that broke the case wide open. And that single phone call, that was the key. It was the linchpin that held the whole investigation together. See, the police had all these separate clues, security video, palm prints from the roof, even some online chats. But that tip from the family, that's what connected all the dots right back to one person, Tyler Robinson. Once they had a name, it all happened fast. The 30-plus hour manhunt was over. Tyler Robinson was arrested. And the next morning, Governor Spencer Cox told the public what they were all desperately waiting to hear. We got him.
So it really brings us full circle, doesn't it? We started by talking about packing boxes, something so normal, and we end with a phone call that changes absolutely everything. It just goes to show you, sometimes the moves we plan are small, but the moments that truly move us, the unplanned, chaotic ones, are the ones that really define our lives. So, what do you think? What are the moments that have defined yours?